Foundry Part 5. It's the loudest thing we do unnoticed. The breath is a thing that goes unnoticed by most people. They take their breath for granted, as the saying goes. And since they took their breath for granted, there was this thing that happened a few years ago where people had fluid that would develop on their lungs, right? Let's consider the name change from Abram to Abraham a computer coding update, right? Because the H means the aspirate, to take in the breath, meaning the breath has its purpose. Let's consider what happened, a biological coding update that temporarily turned the H off and made people responsible for their own breath. And if you just sat there, not breathing, then your lungs would fill up with fluid because you wouldn't have the gaseous exchange going on the whole time. As everyone knows, we're made up of like 70% water. So if you don't have that electric impulse going through your body to breathe and do all the other stuff, because there's electricity flowing through you that makes all your different stuff move on the inside. If a certain part of that was like, oh, we're just going to turn off this breath thing, but you still have the control of it. It's the one thing you've always had control of. So do you sit down and take time to consciously breathe? If you don't, then you'll sit there inside of a stagnant state for long enough that your body will start to putrefy inside of itself. I used to tell my students, be wary of the light because you feel love and compassion inside of it and it'll make you want to stay. But inside of you staying, you'll have stagnation, and stagnation is death. Be wary of the dark because you can feel all the things around you moving and you'll just stay there. But that stagnation is death. Become the light inside the darkness and keep on walking forward. Do not drink from stagnant waters because it breeds death inside of you. Instead, take from the flowing waters that are ever living. Like, here goes another little tidbit for you and why I call it stagnant waters. Breathe in all the way. Hold it. You can hold it for a while, but it feels very uncomfortable. Let it out. Breathe in again. Let it out all the way and stay in the negative state. Feels uncomfortable. You want to breathe in, so you breathe in, right? Now just simply take in a breath and let it out and sit there. You'll actually find you can sit here for a very long time on just like the half empty, half full, but that also makes the water start to go stagnant because you're using up the chi or air built up inside your body. When you sit here and you go into your closet, I want you to take in a breath and then just let it out. Do this for a little bit, right? Now, I want you to remember how I told you about the primed state, where you sit here and think about on your mark, get set, and as you're waiting to take off running, you can feel like your whole body heat up. Activate that. Then flex your muscles a little bit, taking a deep breath. And instead of breathing out, breathe in to your body. So lightly flex. And breathe into your body. It feels different inside the way that the air is moving. It's like it's being contained within your field. Why is it that cultivators don't get sick that often? We know the body is made of H2O, right? Add an extra oxygen onto it and you get H2O2 or hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is produced in the body by immune white blood cells. It is primarily produced in three places: the lungs, the gut, and the thyroid gland. A lot of people have thyroid problems these days. Just an idea, because I haven't looked into it, but now I wonder if the thyroid being messed up as it is because people aren't breathing deep enough and actually making the body produce that H2O2 by giving it an abundance of oxygen. The dangers of it is coughing or shortness of breath. High exposures may cause a buildup of fluid in the lungs. If you're feeling short on breath, that means you're full of air inside and you can stop for a little bit and then focus on the energies inside your body as it's moving. Be breathless and work on your energy body and it'll run the oxygen back down. Remember, ki means air. So you sit here and you get full of air, you start feeling shortness of breath and all that stuff, your body's producing all the healing things. Start to stretch out and try to focus on moving that air in between your muscles and such. I also want you to notice that hydrogen peroxide is responsible for making our hair turn gray or white. You know how as people get older, they shrink and get smaller? Well, most of them just sit around doing a whole bunch of nothing. They don't even control their breath. So, of course, they're going to shrink and get smaller. But the skin's still growing. That's why they look like they're getting smaller. The skin's not being completely filled in. Remember, I've spoke of the two paths, everlasting life and living death. Uh, you can probably call either one of them Anunnaki or Anunnagi, depends on the way you look at it. Get the gi from the Gigi lords yet the past to get back up into ki, and then when you come back down, Anunnaki are those who can die and resurrect, but Anunnagi are those who have the teaching and they still use it, but they don't. If they die, they die. That's it. As you age and as you stretch, as you breathe in, as you take time to get into your body, you're building yourself, which causes you to start to elongate and get bigger. Isaiah 45:5. I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God besides me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me. So when we were children, we were girded. Everything was held together. But we haven't understood how the creation was built and what we're supposed to do with our body to hold ourselves together properly for us to grow properly. We have to come into a certain point of personal responsibility. And as you age, as everything balances out in your work life and you have your kids and they grow up, now you have the time to start adventuring and exploring all this stuff. But if you never had kids and you're trying to actually explore it, you can make yourself have a longer lifespan by doing the things you're supposed to fucking do. And as you build up your ki or your energy inside yourself, you get to a point where you undergo evolutions within your nature of your body. And you start being able to store the cosmic energy better. And then you start to get to where you can levitate and fly based on the energy you've stored. And guess what? Your body goes into outer space as if it is the spaceship because you no longer need to breathe because you have enough energy inside yourself to make yourself biologically immortal, and therefore you've been reformed over and over again. There are many ways to use this energy that's within us to build ourselves, but most people spend all their time on the outside in the Maya playing around, playing the game, and not actually sitting down and going to their closet and like sitting with themselves and understanding their eternity and building themselves for eternity. And as we all know, as you think, so shall you become. And so they fall short of the test and they keep on repeating over and over again. Psalms 82:6-8. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High, but ye should die like men and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O God, and judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all the nations. If you don't sit here and see what it says for what it says and take the time to go inside yourself and build yourself to not be like one of the princes, because the princes are those who fall to their senses. This comes from the Bhagavad Gita, the five Pandava brothers, which is like our five senses. That's where that comes from. No one but you can make you embrace and see what you are for what you are. No one can make you stop and sit down and go into the darkness. No one can make you just sit there and be with yourself, not trying to feed in stimulus, but seeing what it is you've already accumulated. Time is the ultimate currency for mankind because you use your time to work for these people, to get money, to accumulate things that you want, but then you don't really need them. You have them, your stuff builds up. Now you have all this stuff that you have that you like. We keep on doing things, consuming, trying to fill up the hole inside of ourselves. But the way we fill up the hole inside of ourselves is actually sitting with ourselves and just breathing. And you start to accumulate power. Get up and dance. The body is like a timepiece. So you start moving and dancing. You can start making and generating energy that way too. Remember, I've told you, breathe in your mouth, out your mouth. Earth, in mouth, out nose. Water, in nose, out mouth. Fire, in nose, out nose. Air, in both, out both. Ether. Different breathing styles that you can play with to cleanse the elements. Every type of breath puts out a resonance inside the body, and so it has its own sound. You're right, it's the loudest thing that we do that goes unnoticed. So I want you all to remember, you have to take time to sit and cultivate. How do you get to this by your breath? How do you build a structure within you